going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I have a little treat for y'all here. It's a bonus coverage tournament. Kind of came last minute, but there's a little tournament that we were having down in a Springville course. It's brand new. It started out as a 9-hole course, and for this tournament, they put the last 9 in. So there's only 4 people in the division, and I thought it'd be kind of fun if we recorded the video. It would give everybody a chance to take a look at the course and see what it looks like with all 18 holes put in. There was actually only 4 guys in the division. Myself, my brother, and 2 other guys that I actually just recently met in another tournament. But here it is for you, the Griffin Fun-Draiser. It's back on March 21st of 2021. This is your advance card here. Like I said, myself, my brother, Simon, and Dana.
Mama won't lay you down. No, it's a beautiful thing when you live out your dream, It's a beautiful thing when you live out your dream. Now tell me, what does that mean?
There it is.
Awesome. We get right into it here. So this is actually a temp hole that we started on. We start here both rounds. Obviously this one's not going to be on the permanent course because it's on a baseball diamond, but this is hole 4A. It's about 228 feet. Everything on this course is a par 3. And the way that this hole plays is there's a basket long of the pitcher's mound, and you have to land on the grass inside of the dirt. And if you land on the pitcher's mound itself, that's OB, as well as anything outside of the center grass. If you go OB, you have to proceed to a drop zone, and it's basically like an 80-foot putt from there to try to save your par.
Of course, my back foot slipped out, and that's not the one I expected to slip.
You can kind of hear us all talking about how slippery the tee pads were. There's basically just mud. They haven't had time to put the tee pads in yet, but as of this point, they actually started installing the front 9, so
Nice shot, there you go.
I expected not too long that we'll have some nice tee pads up for the front 9 holes. I'm going to go ahead and apologize at this point, too, that our catch cam, we're kind of experimenting with it. This is the first tournament that we actually filmed, so the autofocus was a little bit of an issue, and we're going to spend some time working on that to try to make sure that we don't have these issues going forward. The first couple holes are the worst, but it kind of gets better throughout the event. Dylan a little bit tentative on his birdie putt there. First hole, first tournament. On camera. And just an average start. We all tap out our pars. All right, on to the next hole, hole 5. It's a 265-foot par 3. OB all along the right side there on the woods. And it's a slightly elevated basket. So Dana and Simon actually come from an ultimate background. So they have a little bit of experience throwing frisbees. Dylan's a smooth forehand player, both backhand and forehand. Put himself within just a couple feet there for his birdie look. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, there's an interesting little rule where your lie can actually be up and down from wherever your disc actually lands. So because the disc landed under the bench there, he's able to take his lie up above and stand on top of the bleachers.
Oh, good run, man. Very good run.
Right there, I was thinking I'm still a little bit tentative on the putting, so I better just lay it up and tap in my 3 and not leave myself any big comebackers there trying to run an elevated basket like that. Dylan tapping in his birdie. Taking the early lead. All right, hole 6, 270 feet. The basket is up on a little bit of a slope. And the way that this tee pad is lined up with that fence, it's actually a lot tougher of a line than it looks like from this camera angle. That fence is so close that you kind of have to really push it if you want to get your disc left enough to get to the basket. Simon corrected for that by lining it up on the right side of the tee, giving himself a little bit more room. Ends up hyzing out pretty far left of the basket. Nice shot from Dana. There's OB all along the right side here as well. So I'm taking my Sergeant. I'm going to try to throw this a little bit flat, just a little touch of hyzer. Try to swing it out to the right and let it fade back towards the basket. I just happened to pull it a little too far right. Got caught up in these trees and I was inbounds by inches for the second time in 3 holes. Here's Simon's birdie look. That was a good run. So I'm lining this up. I actually have a low ceiling with the tree branches in front of me. So I'm trying to give this just a touch of anhyzer, keep it low, and try to give it a chance. Not enough to actually get it up and in. So Dana, as you can see, is primarily a turbo putter, and it's an absolute honor to get to play with him and watch him throw those turbo putts. He makes it look so easy. Takes almost no time to even line that up and smash that birdie putt in. Oof, just left side for Simon. He's going to go up and tap in his bogey. Even that was a tricky little putt with that low tree branch there. Kind of had a duck underneath it. All right. Hole 7, 140 feet. There's a bunch of different ways to get to this basket, and not a single one of them is actually very easy. Dana goes right up the middle, and there's actually a playground behind the basket that's long OB, and he ends up finding it there. Now Dylan's trying to play this little hyzer gap they can't really see, just behind that big tree, and he actually does a good job of hitting it. We had a practice round the day before, and our uncle went that way twice and actually birdied it both times. And I like to try to take this straight gap. Something I've been trying to work on in the field, but still a struggle. Just yank that one a little bit right.
Yeah.
Not about putting it.
Yeah, I know, right?
I basically have absolutely no look at it from here. It was lined up directly behind a tree. Great putt there by Dylan getting his birdie. At this point, I was already feeling like Dylan was on a little bit of a hot streak and was just going to start running away with it. All right, hole 8, 188 feet. This is our CTP hole for the Advanced Division.
At least it's on the fairway.
It's a tight little gap. Basket straight. Fades a touch to the left. So Dylan and I actually go with our judges here. You just happen to catch an early tree there on the left.
Oh, come on.
I hit the exact same tree as him. Now, for whatever reason, I did a run up there, and even though I did my practice round the day before, I did standstill shots. Didn't go back to my practice, and I ended up paying for it.
Not feeling it.
This one's a scary one.
So far, nobody has a good
Is there
CTP.
Is there CTP?
Yep.
Oh,
Gotta get it
dude.
up there.
Oh. How close do you have to be for a CVT? I mean, it's got to be
Closer
like
than us. Anywhere on the
anywhere closer than us. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Probably 20 feet. You got it. Coming right there.
Get ready, guys.
Oh,
Is it Dylan CTP?
And the pressure got to him.
CTP got in my head, dude.
Couldn't pull it off. So Dylan, with his drive, even though he hit a tree, ends up taking the CTP.
You've done better.
Yeah.
Something I've noticed about ultimate players is they always have really good looking up shots. So while I was lining this one up, I started feeling a little bit more confident. Some of the nerves started going away, and so I wanted to try to give this one a good run. I actually backhanded the tree there. Didn't draw any blood though, so that was good.
I think you're too sober for this.
Dylan's just laying that one up.
I would say it's not on camera, but
Something about those short putts, they always make me feel nervous.
aim right for him.
All right, hole 9, 196 feet. This basket's up on a mound, and it's a scary putt. Whether you go long or short of it, it's pretty steep, and you have a good shot at a roll away. So the idea is just get as close as you can, if you can even get anywhere through this gap, because it's tight. Now they just lay it up or try to give yourself a birdie look. I threw my suspect there. I tried to get it just a touch of Anheuser, but I happened to throw that one a little bit too low, and I never had a chance to pan out. Caught the very last tree there in the gap. And we're all struggling. This is a tough little course. Tight gaps, forces you to really try some things that you may not be used to. Those are my favorite courses to play. I like a challenge. It's the best way to learn.
Too much Annie.
Ooh, Dylan just gets a little bit too much Anheuser on his judge shot there and turns it over. Leaves himself about 25, 30 feet left. Nice little floater there from Dana. I'm trying to give this a half go. I want to give it a floaty loft up there and see if I can just get it to dive back towards the basket without going too far. Did a pretty good job of it. It ends up sticking right there on the top of the hill.
All I was going for. Give it a little lofty go and just sit next to the basket.
I wasn't sure if Dylan was going to run this.
Oh, what a run, Dylan. It's that.
Good run, though. Just a little low. All right, so we're cleaning up on hole 9, and then we're going to move on to the first hole of the back 9 with a bunch of temp baskets in. So for any of you that haven't had a chance to play this course yet, or weren't at the tournament, this is the first time you'll be seeing these holes. And this is a slick little tee pad here. It's just all mud like a little ice rink. But there's a mound right off the front of the tee, a tree on the left, and some bushes on the right. So it actually gives you a tight little gap. Everyone's going to play a forehand here because I'm not really sure how else to get to the basket without it. And then we're throwing back towards the parking lot. There's also a Mando here, as you can see with that orange ribbon on the tree there. So you have to stay to the right of that.
Not that thick mud that holds you. It's just like a little ice skating rink outside.
Yeah, that's why I tried to dig my feet in there, but then
Yeah, I had a hard time getting some good footing there. I had to basically bury my feet in the mud so that they wouldn't slip out on me, and then I ended up not having a good shot because of it. Simon gets out, but he just clips a tree there. There's Dana almost hitting our camera guy. Shout out to Anthony for helping out, by the way. My wife was actually working the T-pad cam for us. Couldn't have done it without them. Thanks to those guys.
A Mando is a space where you want your disc to make it. If you make it inside the Mando, you're good. If you make it outside the Mando, bad.
Thank you to Laura for the little description of our mandatory. And I have absolutely nothing from here. So I'm actually trying to line up a backhand roller with a judge here. They're trying to be my caddies and tell me to go over the other tee pad there at hole 10 or hole 11, but I just wanted to make sure I got out and try to give myself a look. And I am extremely pleased with how this roller touched down. Now I end up just under that fence, but the OB is only the parking lot, so I was actually safe where I ended up there.
spike in, or was it? Oh man, there's a rake in the way.
So you can hear me say there's a rake in the way. There's a rake sitting right on top of that garbage can. It was right in the center of my putting line. So I had to try to do something up and over it. Just hanging out right. Looked like it was going to be good out of my hand, but never came back. Kind of hear Dana ask me if we're allowed to move the rake, but I'm pretty certain that if something's on the course at the beginning of the round, there's part of the course and you can't move it. So I just left it there and put around it anyways. He's actually dealing with the same thing here.
Oh, come on.
So close. So I'm going to take my first bogey of the round, and I would have been freaking ecstatic if I would have made that putt. Saved my par. Especially after where I ended up off the tee.
I really would have loved to have made that putt.
Yeah, that was a nice roller though.
All right, hole 11. So this is another Mando tree. We have to go to the right side of this one, and there's actually a little tree just a little further down the fairway. You have to stay inside of that one.
That's way too far.
So we actually saw this hyzer line, which is tough. There's really not much of a line there, but it's pretty safe. It kind of keeps you short of the OB. There's OB just past the basket, probably about 10 feet. It's only a 162-foot hole, so this is really all about touch. Dana doesn't like the hyzer line, so he's going to go for the flick. He pures it. Hits just past the basket, ends up OB. It's pretty darn close to the basket back there. So Dylan and I just take some overstable mid-ranges. He goes with the Justice here. Gets it up. Just barely stays in bounds. I don't think we got footage of how close it was, but he was basically on the string. We had to get down on our hands and knees and see if he was inside or not. I go with my new Lucid X verdict that I just got from Dynamic Discs. And that was the shot. I ended up parking that one.
I don't know if I want the whole meter with this tree here. You don't have to.
So he's taking his relief from the OB after we deemed him safe. So this is his birdie look. Just not enough. Simon went OB. Went out right around the same spot that we saw Dylan, so he uses the same marker. Makes his par putt. So yeah, as you can see, that OB line is right there. Dana basically had to tap in for his par.
Nice, way to get on the deuce board. Yeah. I'll play a little bit next one. It's not like I didn't scout it. So.
There he is. My friend Anthony. All right, this is actually probably the toughest hole on the course here. So this is hole 12, 288 feet. OB left, and I found it there. You basically have to hit this left gap, get something that's going to turn over, and then fade back at the end to try to get near the basket. And man, when I let that drive go, I thought it was going to be perfect, but I clipped a tree and just kicked off to the left. It was OB by inches.
Map or you? I don't remember.
Forehand line is probably the safest shot here, but it's just not really the right shape to get to the basket, so that's why I opted for the turnover myself. And the turnover is a shot that Dylan struggles a little bit with. Lets that truth out a bit early and just goes straight OB.
Yeah, good. Got a putt.
Not a bad upshot. Gives himself a chance to try to save his bogey there. Simon with the beautiful, smooth, ultimate-looking throw turnover. Here I am after taking my meter relief. Still having to straddle out around these trees. I'm going with my judge here. Just trying to give it a little soft anhyzer. Give it a little too much anhyzer, but it's not going to kill me. Still leave myself probably about a 10, 15-foot putt. I want to give a shout out to Justin King and Mark Maui for all the work that they've put in to get this course built and everything ready for the tournament. You can tell a lot of work went into it. Thanks to everybody that brought their temp baskets out so that we could put together the back 9 holes. Simon's the only one walking away from this hole with a par here. All right, hole 13, 175 foot, par 3. There's a gap to the right and a gap to the left. I opted to use my judge here, and I missed my gap. I was trying to go to the right side there and let it fade towards the basket. So it gives you an option for a backhand or a forehand here.
Wasn't really hoping for that.
Dana unfortunately catches one of the first trees. Dylan likes this flex shot here with his overstable justice. Also catches a tree.
Put that a little wide.
There's a lot of them out here.
It's alright. I like those long parts.
Dana finding another one. So even these short holes, the strokes can really add up if you don't get off the tee clean.
Good run in.
Just high on my birdie look there. Really had a hard time getting the putter going off the beginning. Simon also finding that nub.
Single chain here,
Yeah, we both hit the nub.
Dylan left himself a long comebacker to save his par. Just fluffs it. And really, just like that, it's a tight race again. Dylan started off pretty hot. It was 2 under. Took a couple bogeys that set him back a bit, and it's a tight race. So thanks for watching the front 9. I guess it's actually 10. But I have the back 9 all ready to go, so come check it out. The best way to follow me is on my Instagram, so I'm going to put the handles here. Check those out, and shout out to my sponsors, Mustachios and Truly Unique Disc Golf, for all their support. And we'll see you for the back 9.